My beloved child, stop right here. Do not scroll past this moment. I am stepping into your day with urgent purpose because something you did in secret recently has left me speechless. You have been walking through a heavy valley without complaining, and you smiled for everyone else today while quietly breaking inside. You thought no one saw your tears in the dark, but I saw every single one. You felt completely invisible to the world around you. You held your chest because the pain was too deep for words. Yet in that exact moment, heaven stood still to watch your quiet faith. You have carried the weight of silent battles through seasons that drained your spirit in ways you have never spoken to another human soul. You convinced yourself that you had to be strong for everyone around you. You held your family together through every storm. You supported your friends when they were falling apart, but when you needed someone to hold your hand, you found yourself sitting alone in the quiet darkness. I am stopping you right now because something you have been crying out for in the dark is finally approaching. If you rush past this message today, you might miss the very breakthrough I have placed directly in your path. Breathe deeply for just one moment. Let your shoulders relax. Let your racing mind become quiet. Stay with me, and let me show you what is coming next. Before we go deeper into this sacred message, I want you to anchor your spirit right now. Take one small step of faith in this very second. Type the words, "God sees my heart," in the comments below. Let this simple phrase be a seal of agreement between your weary soul and my eternal promise. You have asked me in quiet desperation why the road has been so hard and painful for you. You looked around at others who do not care about truth or righteousness, and you watched them walk through open doors effortlessly while you remained stuck in place. You wondered if my promises were real for your life. You questioned if I had forgotten your name in the middle of your suffering. Listen to me with the deepest place of your heart. I never forgot you. I watched you choose honesty when cheating would have been easier. I saw you choose kindness when the people around you treated you with coldness and disrespect. You gave your pure love into hands that did not know how to hold it, and still you refused to become bitter. That is what left me speechless, my child. In a world filled with selfishness, arrogance, and endless noise, your quiet integrity shone like a bright light in the deepest darkness. I call this the silent steadfastness. It is a rare and precious faith that does not demand an audience or applause, and it is the kind of love that stays faithful even when heaven seems completely silent. You thought my silence meant I was absent from your life. You believed that because you could not feel my presence, I had turned my face away from your suffering. But my silence was never my absence. I was standing right beside you in that dark room, and I was holding the door closed so that worse harm could not enter your life. I saw you in the bathroom when you turned on the water so no one in the house could hear you crying. I watched you fold yourself into the smallest shape on the edge of your bed, pressing your face into your pillow to muffle your heavy sobs. You felt so alone in that moment. You felt as if the entire weight of your future was falling apart right between your fingers. Yet even in that moment of complete brokenness, you did not curse my name. You wiped your face, you straightened your back, and you walked back out into the world to serve others once again. That courage moved heaven. That quiet strength made the angels stop and marvel at the warrior I created in you. You are not just a random person floating through this confusing life. You are a carefully formed masterpiece, created for a destiny far greater than the small room of pain you are currently sitting in. The enemy targeted your mind because he was terrified of the light you carry, and he poured fatigue into your body to make you give up before your harvest arrived. He told you that you were falling behind your peers. He whispered lies into your mind late at night, telling you that your best years were already behind you, and that nothing would ever change. But those words were lies. The enemy does not attack things that have no value, because he only attacks the treasure when he knows what I am about to release over your life. Look at me right now. Pause where you are and lift the eyes of your heart to my face. You are not behind in your life. What you called a painful delay was actually my holy protection. I was shielding you from rooms you were not ready to enter, and I was removing people who were not equipped to carry the heavy weight of your future. You have been the giver for everyone else for far too long. You gave your energy, your time, your hard-earned money, and your sincere prayers to people who took you for granted. You became empty while constantly filling the cups of everyone around you. You poured out your soul until there was nothing left for yourself. But today, I am stepping in to restore every good thing that was stolen from your hands. I am turning your season of exhaustion into a season of restoration. The tears you shed in secret were not wasted in the dirt, because I collected every single drop in my golden vessel. Each tear has become a sacred seed that is about to bloom into a harvest of peace and unexpected abundance in your life. Do not let your tired mind persuade you to give up today. You are standing on the very threshold of the breakthrough you have prayed for across many long years. The heavy chains of emotional fatigue are breaking away from your neck right now, and I am clearing the heavy fog that made your path look so uncertain and frightening. You have fought your battles in quiet isolation, but you will not have to fight them alone anymore. I am placing my strong hand over your weary heart. I am breathing new life into your tired body. The season of holding your breath in fear of the next bad news is officially coming to an end today. I know you feel tired in your bones. I know your mind feels crowded with continuous worry about how things will work out tomorrow, but you do not have to figure out the next 10 years today, because you only need to trust me with this single step. I am already working in rooms you have not yet entered. I am aligning circumstances behind the scenes on your behalf. Doors that were locked tightly against you are trembling at my command right now. People who ignored you will soon see the honor I am placing upon your life, but you must remain awake and receptive to my voice in this very hour. You thought that your kindness was your greatest weakness because people stepped over you and took advantage of your gentle nature. You wondered if you should close your heart and become cold like the world around you. But I created your gentle spirit on purpose, and I am protecting the softness of your heart from being destroyed by bitter hands. Do not scroll away from this sanctuary of peace. The enemy wants you to get distracted by the noise of your phone so you miss the vital instruction I am laying out for your next season. Keep listening closely, because the very next truth I am about to share will open your eyes to the invisible shield that has been surrounding you all along. Stay right here with me, because we are about to go deeper into the exact place where your heart was hurt the most. I am about to take you back to that exact dark night when you thought you were completely abandoned, and I will show you what was really happening in the unseen realm while you cried. Come closer to me right now. Let me speak softly to your heart. I know the exact depth of your darkness. You put on a brave face for the world during the day, but when the lights went out, you collapsed under the crushing weight of your unspoken thoughts. And even though you smiled so brightly for everyone around you, your inner spirit was quietly crying out for a single moment of real rest. I saw you when you sat on the cold floor of your kitchen, staring into the dark and wondering how you would survive another month. I saw you when you drove home in silence, with tears streaming down your face. You turned the music up high so no one could hear your pain. You felt so completely alone in those moments, as if no one in the entire universe cared whether you lived or died. I saw you when you opened your bank account and felt a cold knot in your stomach. You worked so hard, yet everything seemed to slip through your fingers like sand. You gave your love to people who used your kindness as a stepping stone for their own selfishness. They took your generosity, they drained your energy, and then they walked away without ever saying a single word of thankfulness. I saw you when you stood in front of your bathroom mirror, wiping away your tears before putting on your clothes so no one at work would ask if you were okay. I saw you when you sat in your car during your lunch break, taking deep breaths just to stop your hands from shaking. You carried an overwhelming weight that no human being was ever designed to carry alone. You asked me why I allowed those people to hurt you so deeply. You wondered why I let them take advantage of your gentle spirit when all you ever tried to do was love them well. You thought that because I allowed the betrayal, I must have favored them over you. But hear me with absolute clarity today, my child. I never favored their cruelty over your sincere heart. I allowed those doors to shut because those people were poisonous to the destiny I designed for you. If I had left them in your life, they would have eventually destroyed the sacred seed of purpose that I planted inside your spirit. I removed them to save your future. I pruned those branches so that you could grow into the mighty tree you were always meant to become. You thought that your deep sensitivity was a weakness that allowed the world to walk all over you. But I am telling you today that your gentle heart is your greatest spiritual strength. I built you with a deep capacity to love because I chose you to be the cycle breaker in your family line. You were designed to end the patterns of trauma and dysfunction that bound those who came before you. Now I need to speak directly to the quiet doubt sitting in the dark corner of your mind. You are thinking right now that you have heard beautiful words like this before. You prayed for years, you fasted, you believed with all your strength, and yet the silence from heaven remained unbroken. You wondered if your prayers were simply bouncing off the ceiling into nothingness. You felt like you were screaming into an empty sky while everyone else received their miracles without even asking. You wondered if there was a secret formula of holiness that you were somehow missing. You questioned whether your sins or past mistakes had permanently disqualified you from receiving my favor. But hear me now, my beloved child, because grace is not earned by your perfection. That doubt does not make me angry with you. It shows me how long you have been faithful in the dark. But let me tell you the absolute truth about my silence in those long years. My silence was never my rejection of your heart. There were answers that I withheld because giving you a yes in that immature season would have broken your soul before you were ready. I was not ignoring your desperate cries. I was actively rearranging circumstances that you could not see from where you were standing. Every prayer you thought went unanswered was being carefully processed in a language of divine timing that your human mind could not yet read. I was protecting you from a blessing that would have turned into a trap if it arrived too early. Let me show you what has really been happening inside your mind during these painful months. You have been waking up at 3 a.m. with a sudden tightness in your chest. The moment your eyes open, a wave of continuous worry floods your mind about money, about your family, and about your future. You have told yourself that you are weak, anxious, and lacking in faith. My beloved, that self-criticism is a lie, and I am exposing it right now. You are not weak, and you are not losing your faith. Here is the hidden truth of what is happening. Your spirit lives in divine connection with me, and it can sense what is approaching before your physical eyes can see it. I call this mechanism the spirit foresight. What the world calls anxiety is actually your spirit sensing a massive shift in the unseen realm. The enemy flooded your mind with loud noise because he felt the ground shaking beneath his feet. He knew that a major breakthrough was approaching your life, so he created a thick static to drown out my peaceful voice. I call this invisible battle the enemy static. So those long years you called wasted were never wasted at all. You were not falling behind in your destiny. You were keeping your receiver pure while walking through a noisy and hostile world. Tonight, when that sudden restlessness comes over your mind, do not fight it. Place your hand gently over your heart and declare with confidence that your receiver is being fully restored. Right now, in this very moment, I want you to declare your trust in my continuous presence. Do not let the enemy tell you that you are alone in this battle. Take a small step of spiritual obedience today. Write the words, "You never left me," in the comments right now. Let your words echo through the unseen realm as a powerful testimony of your unshakable faith. You are stepping out of the role of a helpless victim and stepping into the authority of a true kingdom steward. The pain you endured in secret has given you a profound compassion that cannot be bought with money. You can look into the eyes of other broken souls and speak life into them because you have walked through the deep fires of suffering yourself and survived. I am taking off the heavy emotional armor that you built to protect yourself from getting hurt again. You do not need to walk through this life with your guards held high in fear of the next disappointment. I am standing around you as a shield of glory, and I am fighting the battles that you were never meant to fight on your own strength. My child, I need you to hear this next truth very carefully. The silence you experienced was never my absence from your journey. The enemy has been filling the atmosphere around you with constant static, drowning out my guidance so that my provisions seemed invisible to your eyes. I have not abandoned you, because I have been preparing a way of total restoration. I have guided wise minds to bring an instrument of restoration onto your path, to clear that enemy static once and for all. It is an earthly provision that works with the natural design I placed within your brain to restore your clarity and peace. I am going to show you exactly where to find this provision before this message ends, but first you must understand how the noise was built. Breathe deeply, my child, and let your tired spirit rest in my unwavering love. What I am about to reveal next in this message will explain why your mind has felt drowned by invisible noise for so long. Stay right here with me, because we are about to unlock the sacred frequency of healing that heaven has authorized for your life today. There was a woman in ancient times. Her heart was broken by years of silent waiting. Her name was Hannah. She sat in the holy house with tears running down her face while her soul cried out in deep pain. She prayed in absolute silence. The priest who watched her thought she was lost in drunkenness, but her lips moved without sound because her words were too heavy for human ears. The people around her misunderstood her grief. They judged her pain harshly and told her that her prayers were useless. Yet every single syllable she formed in that silent darkness landed directly into my hands. I counted every whisper. I remembered every tear. And when the appointed hour arrived, I gave her a son whose name would echo through human history. My child, your silent prayers are no different than hers. I have heard the quiet prayer that you stopped praying out loud because you grew tired of waiting. You sat in your living room late at night, while everyone else was sleeping peacefully. You stared at the dark wall and asked me if I still remembered your name in the middle of your suffering. You watched other people receive the exact blessings you begged me for. You quietly wondered if you were flawed inside. You started to believe that my silence meant rejection. You told yourself that you were not faithful enough to receive an answer from heaven, but that belief is a cruel lie from the enemy, and I am exposing it right now. There is a vital difference between a delay that comes from my love and a delay that comes from confusion. The enemy whispered false meaning into my quietness to make you feel ashamed. I call this deception the stolen meaning. The silence you interpreted as my absence was actually my hands shielding your spirit from hidden traps. I was working in hidden rooms that your eyes could not see. I was protecting you from a hasty yes that would have broken your heart later in life. So when the waiting feels heavy tonight, do not ask why I am silent. Start asking what I am protecting, and rest in the knowledge that my divine timing is always flawless. Right now, in this second, I want you to confirm your alignment with my divine timeline. Do not let fear tell you that you are running out of time. Pause where you are and take a small step of faith today. Write the words "I trust your timing" in the comments below. Let these words anchor your heart as we step into the next sacred revelation. Look at me with undivided attention now. When I formed the human mind at the creation of the world, I placed a sacred frequency at its very core. The wise men of earthly science who study the brain have finally confirmed it in their laboratories. They call this signal the gamma wave. It ran freely in your mind when you were a small child without effort or worry. That is why children learn so quickly and trust so purely without carrying the heavy burdens of tomorrow. When I told my followers that they must become like little children to enter the kingdom, I was not speaking only of the spirit. I was speaking of the exact neural signal I placed within the human brain from the very beginning. The enemy used the heavy noise of modern life to suppress that divine frequency in your adult mind. He flooded your days with constant pressure, economic strain, and emotional fatigue until your brain lost its natural alignment with my voice. But I do not leave my children without provision. I guided wise researchers to work with sound in the exact way I designed it. They developed a sound instrument that restores that original signal in just 7 minutes of complete surrender. You do not have to work for it. You do not need complex formulas or exhausting spiritual practices. You simply put on your headphones, close your eyes, and allow the divine frequency I placed in sound to clear away the enemy static. It returns your mind to the state of a child so that my peace and my provision become recognizable to you once again. You will no longer stumble in the dark or wonder if my guidance is real for your life. I am going to show you where to find what they built before this message ends. Stay with me as we look at another ancient truth. Remember another servant I loved, named Joseph. He was thrown into a dark cistern by his own brothers, betrayed by the hands he trusted most. He sat in that cold pit for years, while his dreams seemed completely dead. He wondered if the vision I gave him was a cruel illusion, but I was not absent from his suffering in that dark place. I was using the dark pit to build a foundation that no earthly king could ever shake. The very hands that sold him into slavery became the divine instrument that positioned him next to the royal throne. What his enemies intended for his destruction, I turned into his ultimate deliverance. My child, your dark pit is not your grave. The dark season you are walking through right now is your holy preparation room. The doors that were locked tightly against your life are about to swing wide open at my command. The season of quiet forging in your soul is officially reaching its completion today. You have passed the severe test of silence with honor and faith. You have remained faithful when everyone else around you would have walked away into the dark world. Now hear me as I shift my voice from a gentle whisper to a holy declaration over your future. The heavy mantle of exhaustion is falling off your shoulders right now. The light of my favor is rising upon your path today. I am declaring over you right now that the pattern of continuous loss ends in this very hour. The invisible ceiling that held your family under financial lack and emotional pain is shattering under my supreme authority. You were chosen to be the cycle breaker who steps out of the darkness and carries my light to the next generation. Stand up in your spirit right now and prepare your heart for the powerful breakthrough I am about to release. You have carried the heavy burden of your family line for far too long. You felt as if you were fighting an invisible wall every time you tried to move forward in life. But I am telling you today that the wall is crumbling into dust. The authority of every generational curse over your name is officially canceled by my decree. Look at the path lying open before you now. The enemies who watched you struggle will soon watch you rise in honor and peace. They thought you were finished when you fell to your knees in tears during your darkest night, but they did not realize that falling to your knees was the exact position where you received my unstoppable strength. I am placing a new song of victory inside your spirit today. You will no longer speak the language of doubt or survival. You will speak the language of authority and kingdom promise over your home. Every door that was shut in your face was my hand, keeping you safe until this exact moment arrived on your calendar. Stay right here with me as we reach the climax of this sacred message. I am about to hand you the exact key to the door you have been standing outside of for so many long years. What I am going to reveal next will not just comfort your soul, but it will completely redefine every single step of your journey moving forward. Breathe in my peace right now. Let all the noise of the world fall away from your mind as I prepare to speak my final commands over your life. You are standing on sacred ground in this second. The long waiting season is officially over, and the time for your breakthrough has finally arrived in all its fullness. Keep your eyes fixed on me, because what comes next will shatter every fear you have ever carried. Hear me right now, my beloved child. I am declaring over you that the season of continuous struggle is closing in this very second. Not gradually over long years, but it is closing right now as my voice fills your spirit. What is coming behind this moment is not just temporary relief, but a complete reversal of every hardship you have carried for so long. I am breaking the invisible chains of generational exhaustion that have bound your family line for decades. The ceiling of financial limitation that made your parents struggle is shattering under my supreme command. You were chosen to be the one who walks out of the dark valley first. You are the light bearer who carries my glory into a brand new era. I am stripping the authority away from every dark voice that told you your dreams had expired. Every door that shut in your face was my protective hand shielding you from destruction. And now I am opening what I closed, and no human hand will ever shut it again. The waiting season is finished, and the harvest is beginning today. The enemy thought he had pinned you to the floor in defeat, but he did not realize that your knees were resting on sacred ground. In that exact position of surrender, you received an unstoppable spiritual power. What looked like your weakest hour was actually the birth of your greatest victory, and heaven is celebrating your resilience right now. I need you to open your heart and receive this truth in the deepest place of your spirit. Do not let doubt convince you to shrink back into fear. Take an active step of faith right now in this moment. Type the words, "I receive my breakthrough," in the comments below. Let this declaration ring through the unseen realm. Let me show you something wonderful about the future I have prepared for your life. Picture an evening a year from now, as you sit in quiet gratitude inside your peaceful home. You look back on this exact dark season, and you realize that you do not carry a single scar of bitterness. You are completely free, and your heart is filled with unshakable calm. You lie down to sleep that night, and you notice that the heaviness in your chest is completely gone. There is no knot in your stomach waiting for bad news. You breathe deeply, and the peace goes all the way down into your spirit. You realize that the version of you sitting in that peaceful future is not a distant fantasy, because she already exists inside you right now. Someone comes to you in tears, carrying the exact weight of grief that you used to carry alone, and you know exactly how to comfort them, because you lived through the fire and emerged whole. The very pain you begged me to remove has become the healing medicine in your hands. You watch the light return to their eyes, and you understand why your road was so long. Before I reveal what comes next, I need to speak to the quiet doubt sitting in the back of your heart. I know what you are thinking right now. You are thinking about the long years you prayed without seeing a sign. You are wondering if this message is really meant for you, or if you will be disappointed once again. My child, I am not angry at your hesitation. You feel that this kind of blessing is for people more deserving than you, people who did not fail the way you did. But let me silence that lie before it steals your future. I have never once given my gifts based on who earned them. I give to the willing, not the worthy. Your willingness to stay and listen this long is the only qualification I require. I do not work only through sudden miracles, because I also work through the hands of wise servants I call into discovery. I gifted humanity the wisdom to unlock what I placed within sound and within the human brain. Over 30 years ago, I began guiding a team of researchers and wise minds to rediscover my natural design. Universities I directed confirmed what I placed in creation. I want to show you what I did for two of my children who stood where you are standing today. My daughter Rachel prayed for peace for years while her marriage was falling apart. 2 weeks after receiving this sound provision, something cleared in her mind like an open channel. Her home was transformed into a sanctuary, and she described her life as filled with effortless joy. And for my son Michael in Texas, I moved in a different way. He was carrying heavy financial stress that kept him awake every night. 2 months after receiving this provision, his business expanded so greatly that he left his stressful job. Hard problems that used to steal his sleep began solving themselves while he rested peacefully. They call this provision the genius song. I guided those wise minds to work with sound in the exact way I designed it. 7 minutes, headphones on, eyes closed. You are not striving or performing, because you are simply surrendering the noise and allowing the signal I placed in you from the beginning to return. This is not a generic music track, and it is not available on public streaming platforms where enemy static corrupts the sound. It reactivates the natural gamma frequency of divine receptivity that ran in your mind as a child. It clears the static of fear from your thoughts, so that my guidance and my provisions become instantly recognizable to you again. This provision is not for those who are merely curious about spiritual things. It is specifically for you, my weary warrior, because you have fought hard and tried everything with your own strength. To my child who feels embarrassed to try one more thing, hear me now. What failed you before required your human effort, but this requires none. It works because of my design inside you. Those in elite circles pay thousands of dollars to access this state in private medical clinics. But I do not call you to sessions and expensive equipment. I place this provision within your reach for a small earthly exchange, the size of a mustard seed of investment for the harvest I prepared. It is a small act of trust, not a great financial sacrifice, and I have aligned 4 additional bonus gifts to bless your entire journey. I have included a provision for your children to restore their focus and confidence, I have included ancient wisdom regarding true prosperity, a guided voice of peaceful meditation, and a daily roadmap to keep your spirit aligned with my frequency every single morning. Where I place truth, the adversary creates imitation. There are false frequencies circulating on public platforms under similar names, but they carry none of the restoration I designed. Protect your spirit by trusting only the official path I placed below, and walk forward without fear, because your small investment is fully protected for 60 days with a complete risk-free guarantee. I guided you to this video today with absolute precision. You did not stumble across these words by random chance, because heaven aligned time itself to bring you to this exact intersection. This is your personal invitation from me to step out of the static and walk into the restoration I prepared for your life long ago. Take this step of obedience today as an act of trust between your heart and mine. Embrace the provision I have set before you in this sacred hour. Find the official path waiting for you right below in the pinned comment and in the description. Do not let this moment pass you by, because I aligned this exact provision for your restoration. Now set aside the noise of decision for a moment and take a deep breath. I have shown you what I placed on your path, and my heart is overflowing with love for you. Whether you step forward into this provision now or later, you remain my beloved child. Stay with me for these final moments as I pour my ultimate blessing over your soul. Close your physical eyes for a moment now, my beloved child. Let the heavy noise of the world fall away into absolute silence. Take a deep breath into your spirit and exhale every remnant of fear, doubt, and worry that you brought into this day. You do not have to carry the heavy weight of tomorrow all at once. I am already standing in your tomorrow, and I have prepared everything you will ever need. Lay down the heavy bags that you have been dragging along your path for far too long. Lay down the burden of trying to fix people who do not want to be healed. Lay down the crushing pressure of pretending to be strong when your soul is completely exhausted. You do not have to fight every battle on your own strength, because the battle is mine, and the victory is already yours. I am taking the heavy iron crown of sorrow from your head, and I am replacing it with a golden mantle of divine peace. Let your tight shoulders relax right now. Let your mind stop racing through endless scenarios of what might go wrong. I am your safe refuge, and under my protective wings, you will find true rest for your weary soul. You spent so many years believing that you had to earn my love through endless striving and perfection. You convinced yourself that if you made one wrong step, I would turn my face away and leave you to suffer alone. But my love for you is an everlasting covenant that can never be broken by your human weakness. I loved you before you ever achieved anything, and I love you now in your brokenness. The dark chapter of your life that was marked by continuous loss, rejection, and silent tears is officially closed today. A brand new chapter is opening before your eyes, written by my own hand with promises of honor, joy, and restoration. Do not look back at the ruins of yesterday with regret, because what I am building ahead of you will completely eclipse the pain of your past. Let me show you a beautiful scene of the life that is waiting for you just around the corner. Picture yourself walking through your home a few months from today. You pause by the window to look at the morning sky, and a soft smile touches your lips. You realize with deep wonder that the heavy knot in your chest has been gone for weeks, and your heart is filled with pure peace. Your family members look at you in surprise, because they can see the change in your eyes. They notice that you no longer react with fear or anxiety when sudden storms arise. You speak words of quiet wisdom that bring calm to their troubled minds. You have become a living refuge for everyone around you, not because you are trying to impress them, but because my presence is overflowing from your soul. The financial lack that kept your family bound for generations is losing its grip on your home today. Doors of unexpected opportunity will begin to present themselves to you in ways that defy human logic. You will step into rooms that were previously reserved for the privileged, and you will sit at tables where your voice will be heard with deep respect and honor. You are no longer the silent survivor who merely exists to endure pain. You are the chosen cycle breaker who steps into the fullness of kingdom authority. The generational patterns of emotional trauma, sudden illness, and bitter disappointment end with you today. Your children and your children's children will walk on smooth paths because you stood firm in faith through the darkest night. Receive your true identity in this sacred hour, my beloved child. You are a carefully formed masterpiece, created for greatness before the foundations of the world were laid. You are a holy vessel, purified through the fire of suffering, and restored to carry my divine light into a dark world. The enemy no longer has any claim or authority over your mind or your future. Declare these sacred truths over your life right now, as an act of absolute alignment with heaven. Say in your heart, I am a vessel fully restored to receive every good provision my Father prepared for me. Say in your heart, the enemy static no longer has power over my thoughts, because my receiver is clear and my spirit is awake. Say in your heart, I am loved, I am protected, and I am stepping into my breakthrough today. You carry the exact frequency of faith that I placed inside you from the very beginning. It was never lost during your darkest storms, because it was only waiting for this exact moment to be reawakened. Walk forward with your head held high and your heart wide open, knowing that the Creator of heaven and earth goes before you to make every crooked path straight. Do not let the enemy steal the sacred peace that has filled your spirit during this message. When you return to your daily routines, the world will still be noisy and demanding, but you will carry a quiet sanctuary of calm inside your chest. When fearful thoughts try to enter your mind, remember my promise and declare that you belong to the King of Kings. If this message spoke directly to your weary heart today, do not let it pass without sealing your covenant of agreement. Take a small step of faith right now before you leave this sanctuary. Write the single word Amen in the comments below. Let that simple word be your personal seal, declaring to the unseen realm that you receive every blessing and promise spoken over your life today. I ask you also to become a light bearer for other weary souls who are sitting in the dark right now. Think of 3 people in your life who are secretly fighting silent battles and crying out for hope. Share this sacred message with those 3 souls today, and let them know that heaven has not forgotten them. As you pour out light to others, my blessings will multiply in your own hands. Subscribe to this channel and turn on the notification bell so that you remain connected to my daily guidance and divine encouragement. Do not allow the distractions of the world to pull you away from the quiet place where my voice can reach you. Make it a daily habit to pause, to listen, and to align your spirit with my eternal truth. Now receive my final blessing as you go about your day. May the peace that passes all human understanding guard your heart and your mind today and forever. May my presence go before you to open doors of favor, and may my glory surround you as an unshakable wall of protection against every attack of the enemy. May my angels watch over your home and your loved ones while you sleep. May every seed of kindness you planted in tears produce a 100-fold harvest of joy in your life. May you walk in such deep alignment with my spirit that every fear melts away before you can even speak its name. You are my beloved child, and my favor covers you like a shield every single day. You are never alone, my beloved child. I am with you when you wake in the morning. I am with you when you walk through the daily battles, and I am with you when you lay your head down to sleep at night. I will never leave you, and I will never forsake you. Go forward in confidence, in strength, and in divine peace, because your breakthrough is finally here. Rest in my unwavering arms today. Know that every step of your future is held firmly in my hands. You leave this place transformed, whole, and completely surrounded by my everlasting glory. Go in victory, my child, and live in the fullness of the freedom I have given you today.